In the forgotten town of Black Hollow, whispers of a cursed asylum hidden deep within the woods had haunted generations. The tales spoke of eerie voices, shadowy figures, and the cursed souls of patients who were abandoned when the asylum was abruptly shut down decades ago. Locals called them the Whispering Shadows, entities that mimicked voices of the living to lure victims into the asylum. Though the stories kept most people away, there were always those brave or foolish enough to test the legend. On a stormy October night, 4 friends, Alex, Mia, Carter, and Emily, set out to debunk the myth. Armed with flashlights, cameras, and a mix of nerves and bravado, they ventured into the dense forest. "This place gives me the creeps," Emily muttered as the asylum loomed ahead. Its broken windows and rusted gates seemed to breathe, the building itself alive with a sinister energy. "Relax," Carter said, though his voice betrayed his unease. "It's just an old, empty building. Nothing to be scared of." The group entered cautiously, their footsteps echoing against cracked tiles and peeling walls. The air was damp and carried a faint metallic scent. They found old patient files scattered on the floor, alongside rusted medical tools that hinted at the facility's grim history. Then they heard it, a faint whisper. At first, it was indistinct, but as they ventured deeper, the voices grew clearer. "Emily!" A soft, familiar voice called. She froze. That sounded like my mom," she stammered. "Impossible," Alex said. "It's just the wind or something." But then the others heard it too, whispers calling their names and voices they knew. Alex heard his little sister. Mia heard her late grandmother. Carter heard his own voice, whispering from a nearby room. "This isn't funny," Carter said, shining his flashlight into the darkness. The beam of light revealed nothing but empty corridors. Suddenly, the shadows on the walls began to move. They weren't cast by the friends, but seemed alive, shifting and writhing unnaturally. The whispers grew louder, overlapping in a cacophony of voices, some pleading, others laughing cruelly. "We need to leave. Now," Mia whispered, panic rising in her chest. But when they turned to leave, the entrance was gone. The corridor seemed to stretch endlessly in every direction. Doors slammed shut, one by one, trapping them inside. "Split up!" Alex shouted. "We'll cover more ground and find another way out." Reluctantly, they obeyed, each taking a different corridor. Emily entered a room filled with broken mirrors. As she moved closer, she saw her reflection, but it wasn't mimicking her movements. It smiled when she didn't. Then it reached out from the mirror. Her scream echoed through the asylum, but was quickly swallowed by the whispers. Mia found herself in the old children's ward. Toys lay scattered across the floor, and tiny handprints covered the walls. A music box began playing on its own, its haunting melody making her blood run cold. Shadows of children surrounded her, their hollow eyes glowing faintly in the dark. One by one, they stepped closer. Carter followed the sound of his voice, leading him to the operating theater. There, he found a shadowy figure that looked just like him, standing in the center of the room. It smiled eerily and whispered, "You don't belong here. But now, you'll never leave." The lights flickered, and the figure lunged at him. Alex, now alone, stumbled into the main hall, where the shadows writhed together, forming a massive, undulating figure. It spoke in 1,000 overlapping voices. "You came seeking answers. You will leave as one of us." Desperate, Alex tried to run, but the shadows enveloped him. He felt himself being pulled into the darkness, his screams fading into the silence of the asylum. Days later, the town's sheriff found their abandoned car near the woods. The friends were never seen again, but those brave enough to approach the asylum claimed to hear whispers, voices of Alex, Mia, Carter, and Emily, calling for help, begging anyone to join them. The legend of the Whispering Shadows grew stronger, and the asylum remained a place of fear, where the curious ventured in and never returned.